If you're gay, then you're gay. Don't pretend that you're straight. You could be who you are any day of the week.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You say I don't treat you right. I see that you're too uptight. Then we have a stupid fight. I don't mean to hurt you, but I do. Break up and I take you back. Make you have a heart attack. Boom, boom, it's a heart attack. I don't mean to hurt you, but I do. Be my buttercup, be my star. Beat it like a drum, beat it hard. Even though loud in the night. Even though wrong, just be mine. Be my lover boy, be my spark. Be my fire boy in the dark. Even though loud in the night. Even though wrong, just be mine, boy. Just be mine, just be mine, just be mine, just be mine, boy. I want you like. Sometimes I'm a crazy chick, do things that'll make you sick, but I get away with it. I don't mean to hurt you, but I do. You say that I'll make you wait, that's true 'cause I make you wait. Just one of the things you hate. I don't mean to hurt you, but I do. Be my bodyguard, be my star. Beat it like a drum, beat it hard. Even though loud in the night, even though wrong, just be mine. Be my lover boy, be my spark. Be my fire boy in the dark. Even though loud in the night, even though wrong, just be mine, boy. Just be mine, just be mine, just be mine, just be mine, boy. I want you like. I want you like. I want you like. I always mess up. I'm sorry. Really mean it now. I'm sorry. Just can't help myself. So naughty. So naughty. I always mess up. I'm sorry. Really mean it now. I'm sorry. Just can't help myself. So naughty. So naughty. Just be mine. I want you right. I want you right.
Hey, what's up you guys? Sonic1245 here. Welcome back to GSA Forever. Now, I literally did this yesterday because today is Sunday. And I was not too happy with what happened. I accidentally deleted the video before I even got to upload it. So I feel like a really big asshole right now, and I'm not too thrilled I have to do this again, because I really wish I didn't have to, because I don't like doing these videos over. Hold on, I just gotta find the song for Monday. Alright, so in the last chapter of What You Don't Know, I've been thinking too, Jay and Drake have been getting a little touchy-feely, and apparently they decided to kiss, and then we are doing chapter 30, Green Eyes, today, and we're also gonna meet someone that has to involve with Drake's family. And the reason I know that is because I read the chapter yesterday for a video, and then I deleted the video. So we're gonna meet someone very interesting on Drake's family. So here we go. This is the last part of chapter 29. I've been thinking too. You have me like where he started. It was my turn to interrupt. I'd love to be yours too. So yes, we're together. So yes, we're together if that's what you want. Yes, 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 yes. He started jumping up and down, still hugging me. Drake, what the hell? I laughed. He stood still and laughing, then pulled me into an even tighter hug, nearly squeezing the life out of me. But it was okay because I was happy. Because he was happy and I was happy. And things were going to be okay, right? Chapter 30, Green Eyes. Joey's point of view. I was catching up on homework I had been distracted from doing yesterday's during break. I had more than enough to catch up on. However, I only started reading on my textbook for about 8 minutes before I stopped because of a new distraction. There were voices outside my door in the hall. One sounded like Drake, but I couldn't quite place the other voice. I knew I heard it before, and the mystery was driving me crazy. I shifted on my bed, trying to ignore the voices, but then something about the tone of the stranger's voice that had me feel unsettled inside. I left my book open and rose from my bed, slowly making my way to the door. Aaron, I told you never to come back. I could hear what was that serious. Serious in Drake's voice? Wait, Aaron, also known as the Redhead? Drake told me he wasn't going to bother him anymore. I frowned. Aaron, you don't know anything. Realize yourself that I had nothing to do with this. I never had anything to do with it. You just don't want to face the truth, do you? I could hear the sting in Drake's words. If you don't, I'll shut your trap. Aaron started. You'll do what? Threaten me? Hit me? Go ahead. I can take it. I know you're not that mean. Aaron, I know that you're just upset because you're the one who... Drake's voice was rising, but he stopped suddenly. There was a short wheezing sound, like the wind that had been knocked out of him. My eyes widened, and I instantly swung the door open and stepped out. Aaron's wide eyes met mine down the hallway, and his fist clenched then unclenched. He slowly stepped away, then picked up the speed and vanished around the corner. I rushed over to Drake, who hadn't looked up yet. He was slightly bent over, his arms crossing over his stomach in pain. When I got him inside, I reached out and held his arm, offering him support. I honestly was completely speechless. Drake, what happened? I started, frowning at him. He shook his head a couple of times and stood straight up, wincing. Look, don't worry about it. It's okay. Don't worry about it, okay? He looked around, then back to the ground and held his stomach again. I sighed and guided him into our dorm. I was getting kind of tired of this. After he went through the door, he pulled a fake smile and headed towards the bathroom, but I stood in front of the door, frowning at him. Drake, tell me what happened, I said sternly, attempting to meet his eyes. He finally looked up from the ground. His eyes were glossy. I'm sorry, he whispered, that you had to see that. I told him never to come back. When his eyes fell on mine, my shoulders relaxed, and my frustration twisted into concern and sympathy. He slowly sat down right where he was, and I sat down in front of him. He took a deep breath and let it out. Are you sure you want to know? Can we just pretend none of this happened if you want? He offered. I asked, smiling. I nodded. Here is the bombshell. Aaron's my brother. We probably don't look much alike. That's because he's trying not to resemble anything about me. He doesn't like people knowing we're related, he said, shrugging. Anyways, he hasn't left me alone since my mom left my dad and I. He blamed me for it ever since he found out I was gay. I think my mom left because she couldn't accept a fucked up son. I mean, I'm pretty fucked up, but he smiled faintly. I know that's not why she left. She was the only person that knew about me being gay until she left anyways. She left because our dad's a dick. He threatened her like she was worthless, blamed her for everything, got drunk and hit her. He looked down at the floor and paused. Well, anyway, I don't blame her for leaving. She deserves better. I just wish I could hear from her, you know? I look at your aunt and see how much she loves you, and I just think, wow, I miss my mom's smile. I miss how we would tease each other and laugh about it. And I look at your sister, and wish I had a brother like your sister. Aaron and I were best friends until my mom left. After that, he's been spending all of his time blaming me for what happened. It's like he expects me to confess that it is all my fault that she left. I don't know. I guess he just wants closure. And he doesn't believe me when I try to tell him that she left, but he isn't convinced of what I told him about Dad. When I try to tell him, he just gets so frustrated and he lashes out at me. I nod slowly, acknowledging what he was saying, and reach out, gently taking his hands, which were clenched into fists, and I felt him relax before he continued. The notes, you found a couple of those were ones I decided not to give him because I wimped out. It's really hard to push him out of my life when he's the only person I'm related to that I'm still in contact with. Aaron really only has our dad to look up to right now. I stopped looking up to him ever since he started threatening our mom. Like shit. I know a part of him doesn't want to accept it's true, but the part of him knows all too well that I'm right. I just want to help him. I don't know what to do, he said, looking up at me. How does your dad feel about everything? I asked. Drake shifted a bit and interlaced his fingers in mine. He's sorry. It's just Aaron wants an answer and he doesn't want to believe the truth. As for me, I'm not sure where he and I stand. We're not necessarily on bad terms, but I haven't talked to him since my mom left. I refuse. I just can't forgive someone. I can't forgive someone like that, you know, he shrugged. I nodded, biting my lip. I'm sorry, Jay. I know you probably have no idea what to say, he squeezed my hand. It meant the world to me that you're even listening. I haven't told anyone any of that, ever. I nodded again and smiled lightly. I'm really glad you told me. You know you're the last person I would have expected to be dealing with that, I told him honestly. Really? Why? He looked up from the floor again. Because you're always so fun and hyper and happy. I smiled, thinking about all of his lip singing and dancing and eating candy. He smiled, well, that's me. I can be happy. Then why shouldn't I be? He tilted his head while shrugging. Being happy is way more fun anyways. I smiled, looking down. You don't have to ever force yourself to be happy, though, okay? I looked up at him. I love you no matter what. His eyes shot to mine, and I couldn't quite read his expression. He smiled. His bright green eyes lit up, and he smiled, his awkward, winning smile. You love me? Hey, Jay, can you come a little closer? I need to tell you something. He smiled, and I scooted closer, still facing him. He gripped my shoulders of my hoodie and pulled me closer to our face 4 inches apart. I grinned at how dramatic he was making this. I loved you for so long, he said. His smile broke into a quiet laugh. One of those laughs where nothing's funny. You're just too happy to only smile. I smiled back, laughing a little too. Seriously? No, Jay, I was kidding. I rolled my eyes and smiled, and his face fell into devastation. I'm just kidding, JJ, he said, and kissed me softly. I felt a rush through my whole body and kissed him back gently. Can we just stay like this forever? He smiled. Go ahead and say I'm cheesy, but seriously. He grinned. There's nothing better than this. He smiled and squeezed my hands, and his big green eyes stared into mine, causing me to nearly faint. So, yeah, we found out that Drake is actually not an only child. He has a brother. And now we know why he never mentioned it, because he doesn't really tell anybody that he's related to someone that's his best friend. So, question to me, if you were related to someone who is in your best friend group, if you're related to them and they did something like what Aaron did to Drake, his brother, would you tell the person if you were Jay in the situation, if your friend was Jay and saw this, would you tell them? I'm Jay in this, so yeah, I would want them to tell me, so yeah. And until next time, gay is okay, just ask the GSA. Mwah.